Hey everyone, today I just want to show you how to build my frosted ice sugarcane farm, which is the single most efficient per plant sugarcane farm design. This uses just 10 plants and it produces 17,000 sugarcane per hour. And this is pretty much just a revisit of an older video, which is my sugarcane based bone meal farm, which uses the exact same methods but with waterlogged slabs. Because as you may know, in the 1.16 update, the ability to move waterlogged blocks and have them keep their waterlogged state has been removed due to quote-unquote parity, and this one will work just fine. And just to be clear, I know this is not very convenient because you have to use the frosted ice and not any sort of normal ice, so that means you need an frostwalker enchanted boots, but this is meant to be an industrial design when you want to go all out and have the resources. If you want a simpler sugarcane farm design that is zero tick, I will have one up in a few days. Alright, so let's just take a look at this. So this zero-take sugarcane farm design is pretty simple. You have two rows of frosted ice that are adjacent to this row of dirt with sugarcane on top, and those are being shifted at a delay of 2 game ticks, so 1 redstone tick, which is this repeater right here. And the basic idea is just when this one finishes moving, this one starts moving. So there's an interval which will basically force the sugarcane to grow. And that's pretty much how every zero-take sugarcane farm works, but this one is especially fast because, well, of this particular movement. Then to make sure that we do not interrupt the growth process while we are, well, accelerating the growth, we have a detection system, and we just have an observer, and it's an observer stabilizer circuit. So we have a piston, sand, and dust, which will power this piston, and basically just make sure that nothing pulses too many times and it doesn't create a clock. And yeah, that's pretty much how this entire thing works. And since we are using frosted ice, we need to make sure that the frosted ice doesn't melt. So that means that we have to have a roof above this farm, which we can simply torch afterwards. And the basic idea is that we just have to have blocks going 4 blocks out from where the frosted ice is. So we have the frosted ice right here, and then we just go out by 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have that kind of roof. And we just apply that to all possible spots where there can be frosted ice, and that way we keep it nice and fresh and it doesn't melt, unless you have a torch nearby, which is something that you shouldn't do. Alright, before we build this, let's just take a look at the materials list, and as always we just have a bunch of solid blocks and a bunch of glass, can be anything you want. Then we have some dirt, needs to be dirt because it needs to be floating. We have some sand, this is for the observer stabilizer circuit. Some water for, making an infinite water source because we're going to freeze a bunch of water later. And then we just have some redstone materials. And the most important component is that you need to have boots that are enchanted with Frostwalker. It can be any type of boots, and it can be Frostwalker 1 or 2. You just need some Frostwalker basically. Alright, let's start building it then. The first thing that you want to do is locate your chunk borders, because you want to build this farm exactly inside one chunk. Because if there is a chunk border right in between the frosted ice and the dirt, it is pretty much guaranteed to break. And I think you don't want that. So you can just take a look at the link in the description. I have a video guide linked on how to find chunk borders on all platforms. So you want to start about in the middle of the chunk, and you want to have 7 block long strips that are spaced out by 1 block. Like this, and just put some blocks like this, and 1 block right here to bridge the gap and have the repeater there. Put some blocks just like this, and we can have our main clock. Just put our repeaters in place just like this, and some redstone dust. Let's just put a lever there and power this, and then we can place some more blocks on the opposite side so that we can place the torches on the side of it, and some dust which will effectively unpower the torches. Put some sticky pistons facing outwards on top of the blocks in which the repeaters are facing, and put some sticky pistons on top of the torches. Not this block, the torches. Then we can place some slime blocks right in front of the sticky pistons. This can also be honey blocks. However, the breaking system will have to be slime blocks. We're just going to place some dirt down, so we're just going to go to the right side, place 1 temporary block on top of the slime block, and then just go out by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is where all the sugarcane will be planted on. Now we're just going to build the roof so that the frosted ice doesn't melt when we place it later. So you just want to put 3 temporary blocks down, put a 4th, and remove those 3. And just mirror the solid blocks to be exact same as the dirt blocks. Now what you want to do is go up by 5 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do the same in this direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just simply fill out this roof, and that way all the frosted ice will stay nice and fresh. Then just place a bunch of torches on the roof so that no mobs will spawn. Alright, our next step is getting all the frosted ice placed down. So first we're just going to make an infinite water source because, you know, survival purposes. And what we're doing next is just going to make a little shield for where all the water is going to go. So we are just going to outline everything like this so that, well, we have a little, you know, 1 block outline going around where the slime blocks are. Looks just like this, and just also fill the underside. We can remove that later. Then just have 1 block right here as well, just to make sure it doesn't spill over. And we're going to fill everything with water sources. Now just take your Frostwalker boots, equip them, and start walking, and it will freeze. And you will notice that it will not unfreeze, and that is because there's a dark enough light level. If the frosted ice still ends up melting, then, well, it is probably because you have a torch or something like that nearby. So if you do, just remove them or put them further away, and yeah, that will basically stop the frosted ice from melting. Now you can just get rid of our shield blocks, so we're just going to remove all of those. You can remove that one, and you can also remove the ones on the underside. That is optional, but the other ones I would definitely remove. Now we can place down our 10 sugarcane, and those are all going to be fast grown by the frosted ice. Now we're just going to go to the right side, and we're going to place down slime blocks just like this. Remove this block by the way, and you can place down 1 more slime block, and then 1 observer right here. We want some temporary blocks so that we can place 1 sticky piston behind that row of slime blocks. And what we want to do then is place 1 block right here, remove those 2, 1 here, and have 1 normal piston facing up. Then place some redstone dust and have a piece of sand right here. This will be our piston stabilizer circuit, or I guess observer stabilizer. When it detects something, it will trigger the braking circuit, but it will not clock. Next up is our collection system. So we're just going to place 3 blocks starting from the outermost sugarcane on both sides, and from that we can place some double chests. We can remove those blocks, and what we will then is have hoppers facing into the chests, and then hopper lines coming in from the sides, just like this. And that will pick up all of the sugarcane. And the last step is just to have some glass, or I guess any block, reaching over the hoppers and around on this side, and that will basically minimize the amount of sugarcane that will spill out. There will still be some sugarcane loss going out from the side, but it's very minimal, and considering how much this produces, it is pretty much not important at all. And there you go, you can give it a try, flick this lever on, and well, it will produce sugarcane. Everything will land in those 2 chests. I just want to point out that the idea of using frosted ice is originally from a person called Maxsilver, but the design I used here is pretty much just my bone meal sugarcane farm minus the composters to generate the bone meal. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, except that, well, you cannot use waterlogged slabs anymore because that was removed due to quote-unquote parity. Another small thing to note is that this produces a lot more sugarcane than you would probably think, so you are definitely going to want to expand that storage that you have here. Those 2 double chests will not last you for very long, considering that, well, 1 double chest holds 54 stacks of items, and 54 times 64 should be about 3,500, I think, and this produces 17,000 per hour. So yeah, you definitely just want to have some more hoppers going down like this, and some more chests, and that will be the storage expanded. Oh, and make sure to not unload this while it's running, because it might break. I think this one is fine on relog, but it still could break, so just for safety I would turn it off. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this industrial sugarcane farm tutorial, and well, hopefully that convinces you that ZeroTick is not patched in Bedrock 1.16 unlike it is in Java. And so, well, this is pretty much the entire thing. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you get use out of this, and well, I know Frostwalker is a little harder to get, but if you need that much sugarcane anyway, then this is probably worth it. And well, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you around. Bye!